What's going on, guys? It is Redgrave here, and we have a surprise update for Bayonetta 3. So just the other day, a patch for Bayonetta 3 has been released, version 1.2. It was released just the other day, has a whole bunch of game-changing patch notes, and normally I'm not the kind of person to cover patch notes, but this is a very important update that I want to just share and give my thoughts on, so that's exactly what we're going to do. But before we get started, if you would like to see more videos like this, especially around the Bayonetta series, don't forget to hit the like button on the video and hit the subscribe button to see more. I also recently announced that I have a YouTube join button, so if you would like to see some of these videos earlier and also get a shout out in the actual videos and video descriptions, that is another option for you guys to just help support what I do and get some benefits because of it. With all of that out of the way, let's cover the patch notes. Okay, so here are the full patch notes as follows. So the biggest combat adjustment is going to be around Viola. So Viola's activation window for the block and the activation continues for which time has been updated. So the block activation window added after releasing block during the release animation. So what that means is after you hold block, if you release block, then the witch time activation will still happen. So basically, once you let go of block, you will still be able to block and get a witch time after that. So almost kind of has like a reverse bats within effect in a way. So what they also did is they added additional animation when the witch time takes effect. So it's going to be easier to realize when it actually does take effect, which it's a nice change, but I feel like it's kind of obvious already, so I'm kind of curious as to why exactly they did that. What they also did is they actually increased the length that witch time is activated, as well as the actual activation window. So here's another interesting one. So now when block is activated, when a player is attacked, player will receive the damage effect, but block will succeed and activate witch time. So this is an actual bats within effect for Viola specifically, which is really nice. And I feel like that's actually going to make her a lot easier to use with people who have been struggling with her. So now combo can continue with dodge offset when player uses block to activate witch time. So instead of the combo just instantly dropping, you now actually have dodge offset but with block, which I'm really surprised that this wasn't in here earlier, and I think a lot of things now make sense with that. So that's pretty interesting. And here's the last and most important one. If the block input is used repeatedly, the granted witch time duration will decrease. So now you're going to be punished for repeatedly spamming the block button, but it's going to reward you with a better understanding and timing. And with the bats within effect now, the bats within effect, quote unquote, this should be a lot easier. Adjustments made to prevent Viola's evasive input and Cheshire's summoning input from activating Assault Slave while maintaining invincibility if they are used in rapid succession. So that's really good, making it a little bit more smoother with that. The weapons Simone, Tartarus, and Viola's charge attacks can now continue to hold charge even if dodged or blocked. This is something that I'm gonna want to test out and see, but what I believe this means is that if you're holding the charge and then you block or dodge, you will be able to have like a full charge still once you release the button, which I think is really nice. Wing Slave can now be activated from the combos Punch, Kick, Punch, and Punch, Kick, Kick for the weapons G-Pillar, Dead End Express, and Cassiopeia. P is punch and K is kick. This is very interesting because these are the slower weapons, and one of the biggest things is that there isn't a Wing Slave for Punch, Kick, Punch for pretty much all the weapons universally, but now for the slower, heavier weapons, there is a Wing Slave, which I think is actually really nice and really beneficial for those weapons, and will probably give some people some reason to use them potentially, because personally, I don't use any of these because of how slow they are. When equipping the accessories Infernal Communicator and Police Butterfly to summon devils and butterflies, it is now possible to cancel the summoning motion by dodging or blocking. Interesting. So you can cancel that. That's cool. This one is a really interesting one, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I think overall it's nice, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So a couple of the Nilfheim stages, or in this case the secret stages, were changed to lower the difficulty. So it's basically time increases and life increases, so there's a lot more leeway to actually complete the challenge and make it less difficult. So nothing to do with enemy aggression or anything like that, but basically you have more chances to complete the challenge. So I think that's really good overall, and it makes it less difficult. So yeah, that's really all there is to that, but that's good. Conditions for obtaining the tricolored keys needed to unseal the old picture book have been made easier. So the keys will be automatically available on the chapter select screen once it becomes possible to access the gates of hell. Even if the player already has access to the Gates of Hell or has already obtained 1 or 2 keys, they will automatically obtain the remaining keys when going to the chapter select screen after applying the update. This one's really interesting because with the picture book, even I didn't really know how to get the keys for the picture book, and I had to look up a guide for it. So I'm wondering, you know, with Bayonetta Origins coming out and that basically being the playable demo for the old for Bayonetta 0 was the old picture book. I wonder if maybe there just weren't as many people that were going out of their way to get it. So because the old picture book is really easy to get, you just buy it from the shop. But getting the tricolored keys is a lot more challenging just because you have to search around, find it, and know what you're looking for. And I looked up a guide just to get it, so it was really easy, but I could see that people who don't want to do that are going to be very lost on how to get this thing, because there's no real way that tells you to get it. Other minor changes: adjustments have been made to the golem treasure chests found in stages, time limits have been increased, and difficulty has been lowered. Golem chest fragments animation can now be fast forwarded with the B button, thank Christ, oh my god. Adjustments have been made to reduce situations with poor camera visibility, which is good. And then adjusted game balance. That's very vague, adjusted game balance. I wonder what exactly that means. I know that my biggest gripe with the game for the time being is that I don't necessarily think that Infinite Climax is too hard, but enemies hit very hard. Like, you get punished immensely for getting hit. Even at points where, like, just like a single attack will take, like, half of your health away. And especially when it comes to, you know, basically no sound cues at all from the enemies, because the sound is really quiet. That's the main thing that's been really frustrating with Infinite Climax specifically. But it's kind of weird that they had all these very specific changes, but this one just says adjusted game balance without any other points with that. And we have a whole bunch of bug fixes, so I'm just gonna go through these just to see what exactly they fixed. Most of these I probably won't know, but I think there's one big glitch that they're gonna fix here. So, fixed a bug in verse 5 of chapter 7 that prevented progress when certain actions were performed while controlling Cheshire. Fixed a problem with the accessory Hymn of Durga, in which its effect was not being applied to some attacks. Fixed an issue when using the bondage whip skill in certain situations would cause enemies to die instantly. I didn't know about that one. I didn't know that this was a thing. I did know about the cracking glitch, though. Fix an issue where the weapons using Crow Within with Scarborough Fair and Love is Blue would cause players to move forward significantly under certain conditions. That's a bit frustrating. That's a very cool, like, movement tech. I remember seeing this one, actually, and that's really unfortunate that they actually took that one out. Fix an issue where Bayonetta's animation would not play correctly when switching weapons immediately after using Crows Within with the weapons Scarborough Fair and Love is Blue. Fixed a bug that caused Black Pearl Rain for Infernal Demon Kraken to trigger Wing Slave with abnormally high attack power. There it is, right there. That's the Kraken glitch. So if you don't know what the Kraken glitch is, you basically use this to one-shot everything in the game. This is how people are able to beat Devil Rodon. They just use the Kraken glitch and it instantly kills him. Speaking of Rodon, I just saw his name. Fixed a bug that caused Devil Rodon to be stuck for a time when using Afterburner Kick continuously, immediately after rising up with a prior Afterburner Kick. I wonder what this is. I've never seen this. Is this during his actual boss, or is this them at... Oh, wow. It probably isn't him as the Infernal Demon, because it would have said Infernal Demon, Devil Rodon. So this probably has to be during his actual boss. Wow. Fixed a bug in which Viola's Assault Slave was able to summon Infernal Demons in Infernal Demon prohibited areas. That's a very interesting one. It's kind of sad that they took that one out. Fix an error in the hand symbol seen in QDJ's transformation sequence viewable inside chapter. So, I want to... Oh my god, I have to go back and do the QDJ segment again, because QDJ does this, I saw, which I feel like the hand symbol actually should be this, which is the Beautiful Joe symbol. Because even when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, that's a Beautiful Joe reference, that's really cool. And even like her costume looks like a Beautiful Joe reference, but I was watching it the other day and she does this. So I'm wondering if her middle finger is actually supposed to go up on there. I'm gonna have to go back and look. Fixed other issues to make the game more enjoyable to play. They just didn't want to put any more patch notes out. They were just like, yeah, we just made fixed other issues to make the game more enjoyable to play. Nothing about the frame rate. Okay, so that's all the patch notes. So I want to sort of go through my thoughts real fast. So the first thing, two really big things here that I'm really glad that they adjusted. The first thing was Viola and her block and witch time mechanics that made them more enjoyable. That's obviously been, I think, people's main issue with Viola as a playable character. And I think that this is gonna make her more convenient to play. So I'm also really glad that they actually got rid of that Kraken glitch, because mainly just because of Rodan, and I'd feel more sad about it if you had Kraken earlier in the game, because you have to get him like right at the very end of the phenomenal remnants. So I feel like, you know, in terms of like maybe potentially like speedrunning or whatever, you could use Kraken to just one-shot enemies and just make the game go faster. But the fact that it's as it is right here, and this is like the main reason that people are beating Devil Rodan so easily, I'm glad that that's fixed. And if you would like to see a strategy on how to actually beat Devil Rodan, you can click the link in the description below, or I'm going to put it up here for my own personal guide that me and one of my mods found about how to actually kill Devil Rodan pretty consistently. Okay, so here's my very small hot take that I kind of have. So I'm glad that they're doing this. I almost want to say that it's a bit too late. So they're coming out with this patch like two and a half months after the game released, like almost close to 3, so like 2.5 months. I feel like most people are basically done with this game is kind of what I'm saying. I'm not done with it yet because I've been procrastinating with a bunch of other projects, but I feel like if I had really went like balls out and just went to try to beat everything, I would be done with the game by now, maybe with the exception of like the final witch trials. And I feel like people may not want to go back to give this game a shot when they've already done everything, so I'm kind of curious to see what other people's thoughts are on this. And like, I know that this is a good change overall, but I wonder if it's like a too little too late kind of scenario. What I do love though, and I will give Platinum Games credit for this, is that instead of just saying this is how the game is and we're just not going to do anything with it, they actually did adjust the things that people were complaining about, like with Viola's blocking and making it more convenient to use and just better, as well as some of the other things like the punch kick punch combos with some of these. Getting rid of the Kraken glitch I think is a really, really big one as well. But what I am most curious about is really what the other adjusted game balance and other issues to make the game more enjoyable are. And I'm not sure how exactly that's going to feel, but the vagueness of it is kind of what makes me go, I just want to know what these are. So I still have a little bit of Bayonetta 3 to actually play through for my Infinite Climax playthrough, but unfortunately it's just the last 2 levels. So what I think I might have to do is I might have to actually like play a little bit more afterwards, like some of the other levels, like probably like, you know, mission 1 and like a Viola level or 2, just to really feel the difference. I just wish that they came out with this patch sooner, frankly, just because I'm almost done with Infinite Climax, and then after that, my only real motivation to really play would be to beat the last witch trials and then just pure platinum, which I don't really have any interest in. So those were all of the patch notes. What do you guys think of these patch notes? What are some of the things that you agree with, and what are some of the things that you disagree with? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on these patch notes in the comments below. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you would like to see more Bayonetta 3 content from me, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button in order to see more. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.